I'm waiting. I'm waiting for all my friends. Where are you, friends? Okay, good. Oh, I gotta love Facebook Live. Just a tiny bit delayed, like 30 seconds. How are you guys? Okay, it's Saturday, the day before Easter. My kids are so old now. I said to my husband, I go, do we need to get Easter bunny baskets? Maybe I'll have to get a basket for myself. So I have a little Easter bouquet. You guys, these are my daffodils. I have to tell you about my daffodils. So I posted this story on my Instagram. I don't know. I think it might go on Facebook. I'm not sure. Okay. So the sad thing is, a year ago, not even 6 months ago, my area where I live in Santa Cruz had horrible fires, especially in this one area in Bonnie Doon, which is in the Santa Cruz Mountains. And they had a fundraiser called the Daffodil Project. And they sold for a fundraiser over 100,000, do I have that right? 100,000 daffodil bulbs. And you had to buy them in a bushel, I think. A bushel? It was 160. I thought a bushel was 60. So I bought my bushel, and the money went towards the school, and it went towards a lot of fundraising up in that area. And anyway, the idea was in 6 months' time, which is right now, there'll be daffodils everywhere. And daffodils are a sign of, you know, renewal and joy and hope. And I just thought that was so sweet. So I gave a bunch to my friends, but I also planted probably about 90 in my garden. And it took a while for them to come up, and now they're up. And I sit in the morning on my kitchen bench as I write in my morning journal, and I stare at the daffodils. I hope they last for, excuse me, I got some hair in there. I hope they last for a few more weeks, but aren't they so pretty? And there were different varieties in this bushel. Okay, so there's this one. I don't know a lot about daffodils, what the difference is, but this one has like a little frill on the outside, and these are more orange in the inside frill, and the inside frill on the outside, and these are more orange. So pretty. And then I have some jasmine, which is growing. That smells so good. A little salvia. This is another salvia. Now salvia, oopsie. That was my first oopsie, and now I have a little baby. Now I have a little baby salvia. I'll have to put that in my baby vases. Okay, back to my bouquet. I've got some lavender that's blooming right now. Also, this is from a magnolia tree. I'm hoping that comes out. And let's see, what else? A little poppy still. This is from last week, my poppy. And this I thought was really interesting. There's a lot of succulents in my area, and this succulent has flowers. So I thought, whoopsie, those are really pretty. Okay, good thing Heidi and my mom are not on the live right now, because they would be making silly comments. Okay, Sandy, you can make them. Okay, this is the other thing I want to tell you about flowers today. So also, I have been posting about gopher baskets and gophers. And so where I live, there are gophers everywhere. They eat my plant. I can be sitting looking at my garden, and a plant, a whole entire plant that's matured after years, gets sucked into the ground like this, gone. And you can see it, it just goes. And what the gophers love are the roots, and then they'll eat it, and then my plant is gone. So every single plant I have in my garden has to be in a basket, except my favorite foxgloves. Aren't they so gorgeous? So I'm thinking I'm gonna come up with my next Zoom class pattern on foxgloves and beautiful plants like these with the big circles and the bells. So that's what I'm working on. So anyway, there you go. So happy Easter, happy Easter, Easter, Easter. And I hope you guys like that little bouquet. All right, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna sit down on my stool. I'm gonna bring us down a little bit before we get started on today's subject. I actually wrote notes. Oh, and I want to make sure we are truly live, but I can see you guys. I want to make sure. There we go. Okay, good, good, good. All right. So I know a bunch of you guys were on the live last week, and it was so mind-blowing, amazing for me to be able to do this. I had thought about it. I had worked on it. I had figured out how to do it. I had all these practices. I had technical stuff. I was totally having nightmares that the internet would break or something technical wouldn't work. After 5 minutes of actually being in the Zoom with you all, it was so amazing to me to be able to see people from all over. Oh my gosh, Sherelle from Australia got up at 2 a.m. There were people in Mexico, England. Cheryl was over in Germany. Karen was in England. Rosie was in Mexico. I know we had some Canadian friends, and it just blows me away. And so one of the reasons why I love to do the Zoom is not, I probably will never do a Zoom class where I really want this like perfect piece of art that you potentially could sell, where Becky sold hers, which is pretty awesome. But it's not about the technical aspects of coming up with a project. You really can't do that in 2 hours, but it's about playing and being creative and kind of just putting away the noise and putting away all of the busyness in our lives and just literally playing. Like, we are kids. Think of the art as your playground, your sandbox. And the other thing that just fills my heart up so much is the connection with everybody. And this is so cool. So Chris and Sandy both live in Hawaii, in Maui, actually, in the island of Hawaii, in Maui. And I think they were trying to get together and do like an art play date and this week or next week. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I would like to go and be part of that play date, but having, you know, groups and communities for people to connect. Win-win. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted you guys to know that I was full up all week, and I am coming up with the May 1 design. I'll probably get that done this week, and I'll share it for you guys who want to be on there. And if anybody wants to know the Zoom dates, if you go to andreagarvey.com, at the very, very top, there's a link, and it says Creative Sessions. You just click on that link, and there you go. So, okay, I wanted to chat today about journaling. And before I put the camera down on the table, I wanted to show you, because Lynn had some really great questions, but I wanted to show you that when I journal, I often will journal not in the same environment as I do my painting and I do my artwork. I journal and I sort of do it either like on the couch and, oh wait, we have a question coming in. I have to read it. Oh boy, that went by so fast. Okay. Oh, that is a good question. Okay, I'm gonna hold that. You guys don't let me forget about the yellow. Christine had a good question about the yellow. But I find when I want to journal, I really like to journal away from where I am. So I take this little tote bag. It's kind of heavy because I have a lot of stuff in it. All right, so here's like my little bag. I got this at Target for like 10 bucks. It's just this little container. You can use anything, an old basket. Easter Bunny basket is great for holding art supplies. And what I do is I throw in a couple journals that I'm working on. I have some paint pens, some Neos, and some pencils, and I'll show you that when I turn my camera around. But my point is that you can take your little bag or your basket anywhere. And so yesterday I was on the front deck, just sitting there painting away, drawing really, not painting as much. And I'm also on the couch doing it a lot too, where I'm just doodling and sketching. And the other thing I wanted to tell you guys about journaling is that it doesn't have to be in any fancy journal. Okay, I wanted to show you a couple. It does not have to be fancy pants at all. It could be your old, remember the old spiral bound sketchbooks? There wasn't any journals back then. There wasn't any fancy journals back then. We're talking a long time ago. Let me tell you when we're talking 1976, okay? 1976. This was my sketchbook, and when I was little. And I thank you, Mom, for saving it for me. And look, even back then I was doing like colorful doodling things. And I just want you to know that when you're creating, it doesn't need to be in anything special or fancy. And I love like these little tiny sketchbooks that you can get these at any art store. And it could be, you know, I love throwing this stuff in my bag and just filling, oopsie, it's upside down, sideways. Just filling it in with notes and drawings and writings. I think it's just having a little book that you can draw in, and it's just a really good place to get some ideas down and to have fun. So I'm going to show you, oh, and then you can make them. So we made these in layered petals, but the idea is too, like you can make your own journal just out of paper and some thread and a needle, and you don't need to go buy anything. So what I have been doing is I've been working on 2 different types of journals. So I'm going to show you those. So I'm going to take the handy dandy tripod and flip it over. All right, so bear with me. And then I have something exciting to show you. Okay, hold on. Let me get all my stuff out. So these are just like, this is what I put in my little container. Just a jar, and that was why it's heavy, because they're jars. So these could be little plastic jars, and I just throw in pencils and a paintbrush, and I got little scissors and stuff like that. And then I was carrying around this too with my Neos. This is very heavy. This is a piece of ceramic, but you could easily put these in a little container. And then the other thing in there is this little plastic thing is where I put my water. I'll literally use my drinking water, dip it in, pour it in, and use that for when I'm painting. And it's great. So think about I have to sit down again. Think about what are the easy supplies to throw together and make it really simple. Jean Oliver, who you guys probably know, I love, love, love. Jean Oliver is my business mentor and an amazing artist. She recommends putting these little kind of containers of stuff and leaving one, if you can, if you have enough extra supplies, which I'm sure we have a lot of supplies, is putting one in a different part of your house too, so that you won't have to be like, oh, I don't feel like going to gather my stuff. Your stuff is already gathered. And you could even have a little pouch, tiny little pouch with some stuff, even a Ziploc bag, and have that in your purse, and you just always have it, okay? Good tips. All right, so hold on. I'm still going to put us upside down. In 1 second. Okay. All right, here we go. Here we go. Hold on for the ride. Okay, let's see. Turn. Yeah. It's like this little tricky thing I have still figuring out. Okay, I'm going to put something on my tripod so it doesn't fall. I think last time it fell, so hold on. I've got a little sandbag here. It's amazing the kind of things that you have to get when you're your one man, one woman show. All right, it's a one woman show. Okay, now I can see your question. 2. I'm gonna push this up here. And, oh, my mom is there. Hello, Mama. Okay. Is it Christine or Kristen? So I'm going to go with Christine because there's an E. So Christine is a Buffalonian. Okay, so I love that. Now my tripod is a little wonky, so we'll just go with that for a minute. Okay, she's asking me yellow. Yellow is funny. Yellow is a color that I don't, okay, I love my yellow daffodils, but yellow is a color that I don't paint with often, and I don't know why. I find for me that yellow is a color that doesn't, in my opinion, I don't like how it looks with my favorite colors, which are magenta and turquoise. And that's probably the reason why, because I have turquoise and magenta in almost all of my artwork. And when I put yellow near it, it just doesn't seem right to me. But I have been playing around with peach lately. So peach is closer to yellow. It's, you know, not as pink and not as hot pink. So that's the reason why. But there's a few people that have been playing with yellow, and I've been watching it and seeing it on our creative community right here, and it's gorgeous. So I think it's just a personal preference, but that's a good observation. Because I think you find, especially with me, that I find certain colors I always gravitate towards, which I never used to, but now I do all the time. And one of them is orange. Now, orange, again, that's kind of close to yellow, but orange I would never have painted with about 10 years ago. And I love how orange and pink look together, and orange and red look together. So I think it's just, that's the reason why. Okay, so here, hopefully that answered your question. I think that's what you asked me. It went by so fast. I had to get my glasses on. Okay, so I have two sketchbooks that I'm working with right now. And there's no reason why I have two. I just happen to have two, and they're current. One is the Ranger Dilutions book, which I know a lot of you guys also have. I love it because the pages are so thick. I like this size. This is like an 8x8. I also have had the bigger, taller sizes. And then there's a little like horizontal, or it could be landscape, depends. I mean, landscape or vertical, depends on which way you turn it. There's a smaller one. I also have this one. Okay, now I'm going to have to link this journal for you guys, because this is from a woman that makes her own journals that Renee Mueller and Renee told me about her, and she has taken a business class with Jean Oliver as well, but she sells these on her Etsy store. And I just want to show you how crazy beautiful this is. So this leather is so soft, you could sleep on it. And you open it up and, oh, it's upside down. You open it up. Oh, no, it wasn't. And it's this beautiful, beautiful leather. Let me move this out of the way. We'll look at this one first, because now I started it. It's this beautiful leather, but what she does is she has these groups of paper inserts in here that I love. And this is cold press. So this is it's hard. I think it's 300 pound. It's definitely, no, Kathy, it's not really Wanders. It is, and I don't think Renee's on the live. Otherwise she'd tell us, but let me think. Because I tried to post about her and I couldn't find her. I'm going to link to you guys for her shoot. I wish I was on top of that earlier this morning. Trust me, I'll put it in our link. It's in Etsy. But anyway, it's cold press paper, and it's, I believe, 300 pound. And she also has these little tissue paper sheets in between, like if you were working with charcoal or if you were working with pencil and you didn't want it to rub. All right, so that is awesome that she does these. And then you can always buy inserts. You could probably even make your own too, because you're buying this beautiful bound book, but you can take these out and put new ones in. All right, so let's just whip through this one really quick. It is a probably 4x6 size. You can tell against my hand. And what I've been working with is, and I'm going to answer, Lynn had some questions too that she asked me to go through, and I might answer them as I'm chatting away, but I will get to them too. So what I use to paint with is not watercolor or acrylics. I am using my Neo colors, or I'm using woodies, or I'm using watercolor pencils. And the reason why I like doing these in my journals is because they're easy for me to grab. I don't need to get all my paints out. I don't need to get a huge palette out. I don't even need a palette. I just need a paintbrush, my Neo colors, and this little thing of water. And that's all I need to actually paint in my journal. And I love this because I can't tell you how many times I brought all my watercolors somewhere, or I brought my acrylic paints and I try to set it all up, and it's just so easy. Okay, so that's one reason why I love to do it that way. I will show you though how I do use inks on some of my pages in another book so you can see, but in this one I'm just trying to keep it really easy. And so this is just me messing around with some marks and having fun, really just trying to be loose and coming up with some, looks like this is like a little abstract floral thing going on. But I'm really just playing around with mark making and taking, you know, a lot of water and just dipping in. This one was my practice. Somebody was asking too about this. Like, this was my practice idea for the Zoom class. And I just really was thinking, like, what do I want to do? And I practice on a small area before I go big. So this is sort of the reason. And nothing in here is precious. I mean, that's not the other thing I wanted to tell you, is that nothing, again, is precious. No one has to see this book, except for you guys. But no one really has to see it. I could write how I'm feeling this day right on top of it. It doesn't matter. What is this? This is more circles. Obviously, I'm crazy about circles and just shapes, playing around. Again, more of the same. Then I started kind of trying to, and there's a piece I did that's close to this, but then I started playing around with tulip shapes and color combos. So loving the red and the magenta and this gorgeous blue. And I think that's this color blue. So, oh, I was gonna do a little demo, but oh, look. Got some dirty water from another paint session, but I just like go in and just paint. That's how easy it is. It's just like the Zoom class. You know, you don't even need, when I was doing that, you don't even need a palette. No need for palettes. Okay, and what else do I have here? This is right now, there are I have echium in my garden that I'm crazy about, that my husband keeps taking out, okay, which makes me crazy. Echium are these wild, big, huge purple or blue. They're also known as Pride of Madeira, and they grow on the coast in California a lot. And I first saw them before I even moved to California, and I was like, what the heck are those? And they're everywhere. You don't even need to water them. No water necessary. Where these are, there's no water. And they're big and they're beautiful. And the reason I love them this time of year is that they really attract all the bees, and they are attracting. This morning, I just sat and looked, and they're right. My daffodils are below here. The daffodils weren't out, I don't think, because, well, they must have been. It was last week. I don't know. I didn't put daffodils in here. Maybe because they were yellow, Christine. I don't know. But anyway, the echium, these purple beautiful flowers, also attract hummingbirds. So this morning I was just watching this like one little hummingbird go to town. He was hungry. He went in every one of these and just had a party. And this is the time of year, so you can hear the bees and everything going crazy. So I love echium. If you guys see it, just Google it. It's beautiful, and they're one of my favorites. Okay, again, I'm still into circles and combos and just trying to think of, you know, inside colors. A lot of times when I'm working in my journal like this, I'll put some color down and then I'll go do something like make dinner or do laundry, do all those household chores. And then I'll come back to it once this is dry, the purple is dry. And then I, you know, go in more with another color. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but I love how you can see, those whoopsie, how you can see how a little bit of the water edge is around it. I can't describe it any more than a hard line, a water line. Come on, you guys. Somebody will come up with the right word from that. Anyway, and even here, isn't that so pretty? Just like that little edge you get from the Neos, and you get that same edge from watercolor paints too. And I think it's the cold press that makes it stand out even more. Okay, that's how far I am with this book. I just wanted to kind of keep this one all about color and patterns. That's sort of what I was doing with this one. And it's great. It's so soft. I've got to get my little tissue paper fixed. Now, Renee, she does tons of charcoal work, so her tissue paper comes in handy. Mine's usually dry by then, but then you just tie it around. Isn't that awesome? Oh, yes, Angela, I love that. Water bloom. We're going to call it, maybe that's a real name, but I think that's pretty for our flowers. Okay, and then here is the current book I'm working on too. Let me see if I can get this in. Some of you guys have seen some of them, but I have been working on this lately. I'm going to make sure, in case I'm missing any comments. Put my supplies away. Okay, where am I? Am I good? Yep. All right. So this is the Ranger book. It's heavier. That's why it's kind of nice to have little, you know, small ones. These are great for portable, throw it in your bag, take it with you on a trip. This is just a little bit heavier, so I don't take it around with me that much. But we'll just do a quick in the beginning because you guys have seen this. And for our new friends, this was the first one I did about my word of the year is focus, which it still cracks me up that there really isn't a focus on here. And using some art collage paper from Tisha Moore. This one is, I love this turquoise and magenta. And it goes back to the conversation we were having with the yellow. So the yellow, to me, even though I have a tiny bit of yellow here, and I'm not against it, if I had to pick, like, what is my third color when I do magenta and turquoise, if somebody said to me, you have to have a third color no matter what, I would probably go with a purple. Or I would go with a green. Or I would go with, let's see, a red. So that's why it's just a color preference. And the thing that I love about this spread is that is a total mistake. This is from this page being stuck to this page. And then I pulled the pages away and then I put ink down. Oh no, it got stuck because of the ink. So the ink was on there first and then it just became that kind of like more neutral pink, and I like that. And no, I'm waiting on Lynn's questions. I'm going to answer them at the end. I just wanted to see if there was anything in here. Okay, these are my angel wings. I think you guys have seen these. I haven't done anything to them. The only thing I think I have done since I showed this to you last was I did go in. I try to think, like, was there anything more I wanted to add to it? And I sort of added this pencil work. And I added a little bit of, this is a regular lead pencil, and I added some white colored pencils to it. Just kind of probably leave that. I just think they're so pretty. This is my splotch. For those of you who haven't seen the splotch, it's when you take paint, put it on one side, smush it together, let it dry, and then come up with a design. Sort of just like a journal prompt. It was really fun. And this is just all collage. It's more collage stuff with some paint underneath. This piece was a splotch, but I didn't like having two, I didn't intend for it to be fish looking at each other. And I didn't intend for it to look like each other. It just splotched together, and then I wanted this to be a fish, and then I turned this into more of just an abstract piece of this girl like hanging out on this path, reminding me of Dorothy on the yellow brick road. But it wasn't yellow, and it wasn't a brick, but it was fun, her walking around. And another splotch, which I'm starting to work on some collage pieces here, but I haven't. And then just another thought is, if you guys haven't heard me talk about it, where is it? Let me see if I can find it handy. It's that gold paint pen that I am crazy about. So crazy, I can't find it. Oh no, I can't. And then I try to find it on Amazon, and I don't know if they still have them, but this is the liquid gold, and it's so cool. You can see it shiny. All right. This one is my inaugurational speech of Amanda Gorman that I know you guys have mostly seen this one. So it's in here and I love it. And she just came out with her book. So she's got a little yellow book and it's called The Hill We Climb. And I can't wait to get it. It just came out and she's incredible and definitely a future youngster to keep our eyes on. So that is that here. So here is where we are with my pressed flowers. I grabbed some magnolia leaves. I think those were magnolia petals. I can't even remember now, but they were purple, so they might have been. Can't remember. Press those, but these are the orchids, and I haven't put any matte, maybe I did put some matte medium on those actually because they're glued there. But that's the matte medium of putting down the petals, and I haven't done much with this page. I think that's just so pretty. I love pressed petals. Then this one is really just having fun, messing around. This could have been a demo page. I often do demos in this class, in this book, and I just kind of added them, you know, little bits here and there. This is nothing, and this was also another demo that I'll probably turn into a big collage piece. And again, here, this is but ugly, and that's okay. And I want you guys to know that ugly stuff in your journal is totally fine. It happens. It happens. This one has been kind of fun. I keep going back and forth to it. This is just using Neos and water and doing some splattering and just trying to find different mark making and just obviously drooling over the blues and the greens and the purples. Just love all those colors together. And the reason why I love this book is because this paper quality can really handle the water. It can really handle it, and you don't really have to worry about getting it too wet. Where some sketchbooks, like, you know, like these type of sketchbooks, excellent for sketching in watercolor, crayon, pencil, pen, and ink. These would not be excellent for, oh, look at that cute thing. These would not be excellent for water. They would just go right through it. So funny. I wish I had every sketchbook I ever had. Okay, this is kind of ugly. A mess, and it's okay. We'll turn it into something beautiful one day. Messing around again. This I was sort of experimenting with another bouquet, coming up with, you know, trying to figure out. I'm working on so many different projects right now, and one of them is trying to come up with more Zoom classes and what I want to do and make sure I have different options for everybody. So this is just a sketch of an idea. And this page, I had so much fun with this page. It was a demo on something, and I was using pinks. And then I saw this magazine article, and I just was crazy about these clothes. So this is, you know, a coat and a dress that an artist made, and they hand painted this dress and coat. So I cut these girls out. I can't remember where I found it. I cut them out, and I just love, like, it reminds me of Spain or Barcelona or Madrid. This like gorgeous, gorgeous color and marks and just beautiful. And so I had all of this color going on. It's crazy busy. But then what I did was I took my white Sharpie and I started drawing in on the outside of these, but I also started drawing in on the outside of these girls, like right into the dress. I don't know if you can tell. Let me hold it up. That, you know, I took my white Sharpie and went right over the collage pieces and, you know, highlighted the straps on her dress and the curve right here of this dress and just one line on her collar. I just thought it was really fun. So that's another idea too. Let me make sure I'm back to being straight, is to take some paint pens and just kind of have fun with that as well. Hold on one second, making sure I'm right. Oh, you guys are so funny. You're having a big Neo color chat. Whoever has not got Neos, can I just add that I personally, if you had an option, I would go and buy single ones and maybe buy 5 and pick 5 colors that you love. And the sets are awesome, but sometimes the sets are very expensive and you may not need all of them. But if you can't buy them in singles, then maybe just buy a set, the small set, and start with them and experiment, because they still have beautiful colors. But you're going to be able to get these odd, I call them odd, but they're my favorites. You're going to be able to get colors that are a little bit off your basic primary color chart in the singles, unless you buy like the big pack. So anyway, I think they may be my #1 favorite art tool because of how versatile they are, and you can see how you can paint with them and draw with them and add them to lots of stuff. So anyway, just thought I would chime in on that. Okay, this is, I don't know what's happening here, but this is just a piece of collage paper and it's not mine. Somebody gave this to me in a class and I'm just messing around with it. I don't know what that is. This is another idea I was kind of messing around with. I don't know where I am then, but anyway, this is an ink splotch, and then I took white gesso, okay, and put it over, but not covered it over. I just did a 1 coat, so it's a little bit translucent. And then I let that dry, and then I used white Sharpie and white or Posca pen on top of it, and just making designs and marks and having fun. So a lot of the work I do in my journals is not realistic so much that I have to really concentrate. I literally could have one eye on Netflix and one eye in my art journal and just be kind of messing around and just feeling the supplies and feeling my hands going round and round. No idea if any of it is going to take me anywhere. This I'm really liking, and I don't know what's happening yet. I just love those deep colors, but I'm also adding some whites around the outsides. That's fun. And let's see, this was from a demo we did off of the sketchbook page, but I ended up putting them on, I just glued it on. This was from, you know, showing different ways to do inks. This was from a demo last week, and I don't know what's happening to it. And then this is a spread that I love. I had so much fun doing this. This was after the Zoom class that after putting that class on and having it all work and having everything go so smoothly, I couldn't even function because I was so excited that I was like on a different level, that it worked and we all loved it, that I just sat down and I just started playing. And I don't even know when I sat down to play in my journal what I'm creating. I just started literally taking a Neo, and this is all in Neo and this pen right here. It's all Neo colors, a couple watercolor pencils, a regular pencil, and literally just having kind of not thinking too much, putting some marks down and then starting to build up some values and going into some areas and doing something like that. I really liked how this one turned out. It's not really done, but it's done enough for me to know, okay, what do I like? One of the questions that Lynn asked me, which is such a great question, is, you know, how many pages are rough ideas versus fully developed ideas? And I would say, like, I use my journal to do a lot of idea working and thinking and creating in a small thing. So these are all what I would call thumbnails. And they're little tiny squares. I take a black pen, like a black magic marker, and I just started thinking about compositions. At this point, I'm not really thinking too much about what materials I need as much as I have an idea. I want to do this next Zoom class. I'm trying to figure out, like, what's a really fun design and to get it done in the 2 hours, and what would be different than the first one and things like that. So I have been sort of playing around with trying out vertical and horizontal and pattern making. And it doesn't matter that there's all this underneath. I'll just continually do this over and over and over. It's sort of like the equivalent of if I was a copywriter and I was working on a poem or a story or a book, and you're just kind of writing and writing and writing and kind of coming up with something. And, you know, especially copywriting, because I used to work in advertising, and you're trying to come up with a headline for something. I wasn't the copywriter, by the way, but I worked with them. And you would just keep writing and writing and writing. And it's the same thing. I'm just keep coming up with more and more. And then all of a sudden, one of them will be like, oh yeah, that feels good. So I would say, Lynn, and to all of you out there, that my journals are really for small idea making, and maybe there's something in there like a color combo or some marks that I'm going to use on another painting. But what I'll do is I'll start small like this. And then especially if it was a commission, before I would go onto a big canvas, I would then take, maybe let's say it's this design. Then I would take this design and I would make it bigger, but I probably wouldn't do it in my journals at that time. So just hopefully that helps. It's more, I would say, rough ideas and lots of thumbnails. And like here's just another idea. You know, I was trying to get these, we're not going to do this, but they look like popsicles. But anyway, I'm just like working out in my head, working out what I want to do. You know, there might be parts of something I really like. Like I really like this plum color and the way you can make lines look like that into petals. And so there might be parts of what I like. And I don't know what's happening there. So what I might do is, this is all dry. I might go in and just start adding some water and playing around with it. So that's where I am so far. Okay, I do want to say a couple things though, before I answer Lynn's other two questions is, sometimes when I'm working in my bigger book, I will go in with some acrylic inks, and let me see if there's a couple in here. I will go in with some inks and I will paint my backgrounds in my journal for one day. I may not go and paint anything on them for months, but maybe I have, like one of you guys spilled, was it Julie? Julie spilled some ink in our Zoom class, and she had to go use it on a whole bunch of stuff. Well, it'd be great. You could take it and put some background in your journals, and then one day pick up that journal and start painting on it. It's kind of like how we did for those in the layer petals class. It's how we did these. It's like you do all your backgrounds first, and then you go back in and you add your supplies. So that's just another example. And let's see, I'm going to leave it on this one for a second. Do I limit my supplies? So I would say, like when I showed earlier the tub, I do try to limit my supplies when I'm working in my journals. I don't usually take out my Nova colors and my Liquitex paints. I usually don't do that. I certainly could, like if I wanted to spend an afternoon, but I usually do about a 30-minute session in my art journal. I do it really fast. Sometimes I'm working on the same page for a few days. So I kind of do limited. And like I said, I take a few Neos, some color pencils, a brush, a little thing of water. Sometimes I'll be in a really big paint pen mood, and maybe that's all I'll bring are paint pens. Or I just want to doodle, and I would call this type of work doodling and thinking about stuff and just writing, making little tiny pictures. Oh, and then I kind of answer the question on how much time do I dedicate to journaling. I try to do like 30-minute sessions. Sometimes I'll be really into something and I'll go longer. And I figure, you know, sometimes even if I can get 10 minutes in, but that's usually if I'm, you know, in line for something and I have one of these books in my car, or I'm waiting for the kids, I'll just start doing little hand drawings. Like this had my juice. This is a great juice, you guys, that I love. Look, apple, orange, grapefruit, lemon. So the 4 main ingredients are fruit and sugar, and then spinach and kale. It's called a Ruby Boost. If you guys are into juicing, it's very delicious. I know Cheryl is vegan, and I'm sure she does juicing over in Germany. I'm not too sure if she would agree with my choices there, but anyway. And oh, and then I had this and I put in there. Okay, that's got nothing to do with what we're talking about. But my point is that you could have a little journal if you have a little bit of time. And how many, okay, I think we're good on there. All right, so I have one more thing I'm going to share with you guys. I'm going to turn it around. Okay. We don't want to see that messy corner. Let's stick to this one. Let's stick to this messy corner. I love showing you guys my journals. They're so much fun. It makes me kind of feel like I gotta do a good job. But no, you don't. No. That's a total lie. You can do whatever you want, and you can, do you see right there? Right there. Hold on. There is our chicken coop. My chickens. Okay, this is my last thing I wanted to share with you. And I have been working really hard on a new class. Okay, so this is it's not out yet. So here's my idea with the class. Oh my gosh, we're falling. Okay, there we go. All right, so my new idea with the class is I wanted to create a shorter class. And the reason I wanted to create a shorter class is because there's lots of long classes out there. I love my 4-hour courses. They're great, but I wanted to make something that was called a mini course, and it's more affordable and it's just shorter amount of time. So it may appeal to people who just want to do a quick project and not spend a ton of money on classes. So these mini courses, I've got 2 coming out. The first one, I just finished filming this week, and I'm going to hopefully, fingers crossed, my plan is to not do early bird with them, but to put them out and have them as an introductory low price of $25 for the first like month or so. And who knows, I might keep it that way, but we'll see. But I'm experimenting. So my first one is called Garden Party. And of course, okay, but here I wanted to show you, I'm so excited. Okay, I'm hoping it's gonna come out next week, Friday. I don't know. All right, this is the big piece. Oh wait, I almost had it upside down. Okay, this is the big piece. Can you see how beautiful that is? It's in glass, so when I take the photos, I'll have to take it out of the glass. You can see my deck. So I wanted to create a class that has 2 projects. This is an 8x10, and it's lots of layers. It's all those yummy, yummy, yummy things that I love to do. But I'm including in the class all of these, and I got the idea from journaling. And seeing the art downloadables that Tisha Moore gave us in this class that I took. And oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so I have all of these sheets that are going to be in the class. So this is art that I did. And then these are photos that I took. So you can print out, and I'm going to explain how you to do them. It's super duper easy. But you can make all your, we can make all of this art by using art that I have. And look, all of it are like hand cut little flowers. So in case you don't have an awesome journaling magazine, you can use mine. So it's lots and lots of layers. It's called Garden Party. We're doing one 8x10 that you can have framed, beautiful. And then we're doing another lesson. This is the first lesson, actually. I probably should have done this one first, is these little mini ones. So I'm doing one in purples and blues in the class and one in, oh, yellow. Christine, look, hopefully you're still here. Look, I do like yellow. So these are all going to be with art that I've used on my tea towels. Okay, the tea towels are coming around. It's all full circle here. And collage and mixed media, and I'm so excited. So there'll be 2 lessons. They're probably both about an hour-ish each, maybe a little bit over an hour each. So you can take one class and then do another one. They're perfect to do with your kids. There's nothing fancy, nothing technical. And then our bigger piece. And so they're all easy, like afternoon art sessions. And their videos downloadable, yours forever. So it's not a Zoom class, but anyway, I'm super excited. I'm calling it Garden Party. That comes out, if I can get all the editing done, I want to release it on Friday of next week. And if not, it will be like a few days past Friday. And then this one I'm so excited about too. Like my brain is going to explode. I know some of you guys have been asking about watercolor. So I have 2 thoughts on watercolor. One is I may do a Zoom on watercolor. So you guys let me know in the comments if you want to do a Zoom watercolor. And 2, I'm going to do a class on, okay, don't go. I'm going to grab it so you can see it. See who's interested in this. All right, hold on. I wasn't gonna talk about it yet because I haven't done it, but I want to get you guys excited. Because I'm excited, is I'm going to take probably like 5 or 6 of my favorite watercolor and pen flowers. Okay, I'm probably going to take like 5 or 6 of my favorites, and it will be another mini class. This will only be like 25 bucks. It's going to be, they may be longer than 2 hours, but each lesson, I'm going to show you how I draw a flower. We're going to pen the flower with pen and then add watercolor. And then on top of that, I'm going to also have downloadable art that you can use as, like, if you wanted to trace it. Like, for instance, say if you really want to take the art class, but you're kind of worried that your drawing you may not be able to do the drawing, or you're not feeling crazy about the drawing, then you can use my drawing and get you started. So hopefully that makes sense. So the first one's Garden Party. And the second one, oh, I know, I'm going to ask you guys. The second one is, I'm going to find a good one. I can't find a good one right now. The second one is this. Let's just do the tulips for a second. The second class is this, but I can't think of a name. And this morning I thought of Floral Beauties, pen and watercolor. But if you guys have a name, let me know. It's going to be watercolor and pen. And I'm going to probably do like 5 or 6 of my favorites, like for sure a dahlia, for sure a magnolia, that kind of stuff. So, all right. I know that was so long, but can you believe it's almost an hour again? I can just chat away. So I want you guys to have an awesome week. Happy Easter. For those of you who are celebrating Easter, happy Easter. It is going to be a year of renewal and hope and joy, just like those beautiful daffodils. I feel it. I know it. I got my shot last week. All was fine. Okay. So if you're able to, and you can, and you want to, go get your shot. Doesn't hurt a bit. My nurse was so good. I have to tell you something really quick. This is really funny. I just got to share this because you guys, I'm sure, can relate. So my age group got, was allowed to get a vaccine in California. I'm going to be 55. Oh my God, I'm going to be 55 this month, but the age was 50 and above. So it went from 65 to 50. So it was midnight when we were changing the times so people could get their shot. I stayed up till midnight. My kids thought I was crazy. They're like, Mom, what are you doing up so late? This is when we, get going and have like our afternoon snack, whatever. So I Googled it and I went on like a zillion sites and everything was gone. There was nothing available. I know the stress my mom and all her friends were under when they were, older and trying to get their shots in New York when it first came out. It's a nightmare, but I persevered and I waited till 12:01, hit the button, and there was one appointment available, an hour away the next morning at 9. So I took it. So I went down. I didn't even sleep. I was so excited to actually get a shot. And so I drove an hour. It was a beautiful drive, got my shot. But here's what I want to tell you. I had this woman and she was so awesome. And she's like, okay, I'm going to do your shot. Where do you want it? I'm like, okay, here. She gave me her shot. I didn't even feel anything. And I'm not exaggerating. I didn't feel a needle. I didn't feel pressure. It's like nothing. It was like air. So I said to her, oh my gosh, I didn't even feel that at all. Like my husband, he's a nurse and he's so rough, that would hurt. And no offense, Mom, but my mom is a nurse and she used to give us flu shots. She'd probably get fired, but she doesn't care. She used to bring home her flu shots in the old days. And it hurt so bad when she would give me that jab. So the nurse said to me, she said, do you know why it didn't hurt? I was like, no, why? Tell me. And she goes, because I am a good nurse. And I'm like, you're right. You are a good nurse. So I hope you guys all get a good nurse. All right. With that, I better go see what my kids are doing. And I'm sending you lots of love. Thank you for joining. Thank you for hanging out with me. And I really appreciate all your support. I love how you guys are connecting with each other. And journal, 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 and show me if you want and share it. And if you don't and you don't want to, no problem either. Okay? All right, you guys. I'll see you guys here next week, next Saturday. Goodbye. Happy Easter.